Hey guys, Mama Liz here, aka Commander Liz. I'm here to talk to you today about time. Actually, about priorities of time. If I were to ask you what's the most important thing in your life right now, it might be sports or friends or school or family or whatever it is your answer is. But I want you to think about it a minute and let me know. Now, if you're in sports, I know sports is a very, very important part of your life, and you spend time working on your sports every day, and it's harder now that you're away from your team effort for it. But what is the most important thing to you? Now, another experiment. I want to ask you a question. Take those things and write them down. Maybe first five in order of importance. Now, how much time have you spent on them last week? How many hours in each area, specifically for that area? You know, it doesn't count if you're sitting in the living room with your family, but you're on your phone with your friends. That's friend time. Things that were exclusively for whatever it is you say is important. Now, see if the two match up. You see, there's this little rule that I have. You can find where your heart is by where your time goes. Because you're going to spend time with the things that really are important to you, that really matter to you. Whether it's a person or a thing or a sport or your family or writing or whatever it is, the thing that's most important is where you're going to spend your time. Now, I know you're in school 8 hours a day. Well, guess what? That leaves you 128 hours a week to do other things. Well, I sleep 7 hours a day. Well, that's about 50 hours a week. Still a lot of time. 79 hours left over. A free time to decide what you're going to do. That's even when you're in school full time, even when you get a good night's sleep, there's still that much time. So where does it go? That's what I ask you today, because that's your priorities. One of the things that I noticed year before last, one of our very good basketball players on our college team improved dramatically over the summer. His shooting percentage went way, way up. Why did that happen? Because he spent hours upon hours upon hours practicing certain shots and free throws. And guess what? He was drafted last year. And he is, as a rookie, playing in the major leagues and doing wonderfully. What made the difference? Where he spent his time. So if you're in sports, let me encourage you to look at the time you spend and increase it. You know, what is it you really want in life? Then go after it. And use that measure of time to know what really matters to you. Because that's really what you need to know. There's a professor that pulled out a jar one day in class and said, I'm going to teach about time, and filled it full of rocks and said, okay, is the jar full? Well, yes, the jar was full, and everybody said yes. So he pulled out from under the table a jar of smaller little stones, pebbles, and poured into it. Guess what? It filled in all the cracks. He said, is it full now? Well, the class had caught on, and they said, no, it's not full. So then he pulled out a jar of sand and poured into it, and guess what? There was more space in there, that he put more into it. Finally, he asked the question again, and they're like, yes, there's still more room. And so he poured out water into it and filled up every possible piece of that of the volume of that jar, and it was full. And so he said, what do you think I taught you here? And they're like, there's always room to add something else to your time. He's like, no, that's not the point. The point is, put the big rocks in first. Because if you don't, there's not room for it. And that's what I'm here to encourage you to do. Put your big rocks in first. Find those things that really matter to you. Fit those into your day. Fit everything else in around it. Because it's the big rocks that really count. And sometimes we don't know what those big rocks are until we look at where it is we spend our time. And suddenly we realize that, it might be a friend that, you thought one person was your best friend, but where do you spend your time? That person probably is your best friend, because you choose to spend more time with them. Consider what your priorities are. Look at where you spend your time and think about it. And put your big rocks in first. and spend more time doing the things that matter to you and the things you want to be in life and do in life, because that will cause you to improve and get better and have a better chance at being what you want to be. It's Mama Liz signing off for today. Have a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye now.